You've reached your destination.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to There and Back with Cassidy and Shavana. Today, we are going to discuss how to nail your interview.
All the tips and tricks.
I'm pretty excited because I'm in my interview era, so I hopefully can help.
Fair. Interviews are always kind of nerve-wracking regardless, so hopefully these help you. But before we do that, we're gonna get into our peaks and pits of the week.
All right, I'll get us started. My peak is I have pickleball tonight and I have pickleball tomorrow night. 2 nights of pickleball. Pickleball is like, I don't know, become so popular, I feel like. And I'm finally doing well with it that I can like coach and have fun and not suck. So it's a peak.
Nice.
And my pit is that I'm still having the shoulder pain, which kind of coincides with my peak because I'm really hopeful that this shoulder like pain, tension, whatever, doesn't mess up my amazing pickleball skill. But we'll see.
Gotcha. Yeah. My peak is my brother comes tomorrow, and then we're going to New York on Friday for a graduation party. My pit is I still haven't gotten my desk chair. I don't know what Amazon's doing, but it's still not here.
Just for reference to everybody, we are pre-recording this, so it is just the next day from last week's episode. Because I feel like they're gonna be like, "Holy shit, it's been a whole nother week and she still hasn't got her chair." So just prefacing, we are pre-recording this episode because it's when this episode comes out, it'll be 4th of July, and we're both booked and busy the weekend of 4th of July. So we're sorry. It's pre-recorded. It's gonna be great. But it's only been an extra day. Her desk chair, yes, is still missing. That's very sad. But it's only been one day. It has not been a full other week.
All right.
No, it still sucks, but I feel like we should preface that because if not, they're gonna be like, why did you not just get her check?
Fair.
Have you reached out to Amazon yet or no?
No, I haven't. I should do that though.
All right. What's your media minute?
Media minute. Yesterday, I started watching the new season of Never Have I Ever, and it's pretty good. I didn't finish it, but I'm like 5 episodes in or something.
Are you team Paxton or team Ben?
I don't know right now. Okay. And then I'm surprised because I hope I don't jinx it right now, but Netflix is still working for me, like normal. Like I haven't had to make a new account.
Are you sure you didn't claim the household?
My grandma did. She literally texted me and was like, it made me claim the household.
Was the TV that you originally used set up at your grandparents' house? Could it be under their address?
I set it up at our apartment, our college apartment.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That's pure luck.
See, I just wasn't gonna do anything about it until it kicks me out. And
yeah, I don't blame you.
So far I've done nothing to it. So yeah.
Now that you mention it, I'm still, I think on no, I'm not. Never mind. I was thinking of Disney Plus. Because I think because my mom made me like a separate account, and so that's on my phone, my computer, and like all my stuff.
But I thought she did that. Like she just did it. She didn't. You guys didn't test to see if it was working.
My phone logged me out.
Yeah, weird. My phone, and my iPad, like, my computer are all good.
And then like a couple days later, my computer logged me out after she claimed household, and that's when I was like, "Hi, are you doing it or no?" And she was like, "Sure, it's $8. You're annoying, fine." And I was like, "Thanks." I was like, "I'll give you $8 a month," and she was like, "I do not care." I was like, "Okay, thanks."
That's funny.
My media minute is it's called The Idol. It's on HBO Max, or sorry, it's called Max now. I keep calling it HBO Max. It's just called Max. They like rebranded. Yeah.
Oh.
They rebranded. So it's called The Idol. It's on Max, formerly known as HBO Max. Has The Weeknd. It has Lily Rose Depp, which is Johnny Depp's daughter. And so far, Connor and I are so confused. We're only 4 episodes in. That's all it's been out so far. They come out every Sunday, kind of just like Euphoria. Same guy who directs Euphoria directs The Idol. It's very toxic. There's a lot of nudity. It's very much giving like Euphoria, but like with musicians. I don't know where they're going with the season in the slightest, which also you feel with Euphoria of like what is happening. And it's really not that good, but it's just like you need to know what happens next, so you have to keep watching.
Interesting.
But Sam Levinson is the guy who directs Euphoria, and he also directs The Idol. And I do think Lily Rose Depp is really pretty. I love The Weeknd. So.
All right. So as you may know, we did have a giveaway last week. And this is the first episode from that giveaway. So we wanted to say congratulations to the winner. And we're so excited that you won. And a thank you to everyone who entered.
Yeah, it was so fun. There will probably be more giveaways to come. Hopefully, not super duper soon, we're not going to lie, but hopefully soon. Within the near future, before the end of the year or something. Hopefully we'll have another one going.
All right, let's jump into the episode.
We are young and in our interview era. So Shauna obviously is at her job now. But we've all been there. Even if it was just like your first job at 15, 16, we've all been in the interview era.
Yeah. I feel like regardless, they always make me nervous. I feel like that's normal. So I definitely use some new tips for my path, like my most recent interview for the job I have now. And I want to share those with you.
All right, get us started then.
Okay. My first one is gonna sound cliche, but it is to just be yourself. You are gonna be working the job, obviously. So you're gonna get to know these people, you're gonna be with these people, right? So if you come on the interview and you're like, I'm this perfect or something, I don't know. If you're like acting like not yourself and then you get the job and you're not gonna keep up a charade like that forever. So like it's silly to do that on the interview, right? So just be yourself. I promise, like they want people who are people.
I definitely agree because, like you said, like it's a whole facade they have to like put on afterwards, and like that's just so extra for no reason. If they don't want to hire you for you, like don't get a job there. Mine is research the business and like their values prior to the interview. I love doing that because then you can kind of get, I don't want to say like a preview, but kind of like a preview because you can be like, oh, like this is their values, this is their morals, this is like what's going to be expected of me almost prior to that interview. Because then what I do is during the interview, I may happen to drop one of their core words into just like a regular sentence about like my day-to-day life. Like if I'm explaining nannying to them, I might use like one of their words of like motivation or one of their like core words in my sentence kind of, and they'd be like, oh my God, that is one of our morals. We love that. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so crazy. I love that word. Or like whatever. I don't know how to fully explain it unless I fully gave an example. But I kind of just like look into, and also you just want to research it. You want to know that where you're working, especially when we're getting like our big kid jobs, as I call them, you want to make sure you're going somewhere that you're really going to fit with the morals as well, whether that's politically, whether that's religiously, whether that's any of those things that you're not really gonna ask in an interview because they're like quote unquote controversial. Sorry, it's 8 a.m, guys. But you kind of want to just really have like a because I feel like some people apply for a job and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know it was gonna happen. And I'm like, how'd you not research the job you were gonna work at? And I feel like that's really important. A lot of people almost like are just like, oh, I'll go in an interview, I got it, which is fine. But then you end up working at the job for like 2 months and you're like, oh, I hate it. And it's like, well, yeah, you did do research.
No, for sure. And yeah, read the descriptions of the jobs and stuff. And you can still ask questions. Like obviously it's like the interview, like, oh, I was reading through this and like I didn't understand this, or like, could you explain this further? That kind of thing. They are usually more than happy to do that, but that way you have a baseline to go off of. Yeah. So something I did on my last interview was, so it was on Zoom, like how Cassidy and I are right now, which was interesting. I think it was, well, no, I've done these before, but anyways, I'm sure it's a much more frequently done now on Zoom because of the whole COVID thing. But anyway, sometimes it's really hard to like think of the answer in the moment. At least for me, sometimes I like freeze. So something I'd do is they'd ask me a question. So like, I don't know, this is not an interview question, but like, what's your favorite color? And I couldn't think of the answer, right? So instead of like being like, uh, um, uh, right? I would just say, okay. And I'd breathe in and I'd like kind of look down and I'd think, and I'd just like not think about the fact that I'm in an interview, just like the answer to the question and then answer the question. Because I don't know, otherwise I would have done exactly the other option, which is like, like,
so what I
that
do
doesn't
for
make you
that
look
is
good.
what I do for that is, like in college, a discussion post you do and be like, that's a great job, Jeremy. I agree because blank. So I do that, but with the question. So if I was asked like, what's your favorite color? I'd be like, so my favorite color is, and then I just spew it out because like in your brain, you're like, okay, what's my favorite color? You're gonna follow it up with that sentence or whatever. Like the question is like, what thing makes you think you'd be a strong candidate at this job? I say, I think I'd be a strong candidate because like I almost just like there's actually a thing, I can't remember what it's called. It's a psychology thing when you like basically repeat back the question to the question asker. But that's what I do.
Oh, I can't, my brain doesn't work like that. The answer doesn't come when I do that.
Well, I'm just saying for some people it might. So that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's what I do in that sense. Is I just kind of like reword the question as I answer. So instead of being like blue, if they're like, what's your favorite color? Blue. I'm like, my favorite color is blue.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I usually need that moment to like think. And I think if you're sitting there going, a lot of times you're not thinking, you're just stalling. So instead, just
Yeah,
like,
I'm just saying those are like two ways. Like if your way didn't
no,
work.
yeah, 100%. I'm not disagreeing with you. This just worked for me is all I'm saying. Also, taking that moment, they're not gonna get mad at you for taking a moment.
They also know an interview is scary. Sometimes people don't even like having to give you the interview. Like I did when I used to work at the restaurant when I was literally 19 years old. I had to interview like a grown lady, and I was a 19-year-old, and she very much knew I was 19 because I looked 19, and she was a grown lady, and it was so awkward because I was like, yeah, and like I knew exactly what I was doing, but it was more just like the age gap. It was like you could tell she was kind of just like, why is this 12-year-old interviewing me right now? So sometimes it's even awkward for the interviewer. So yeah, take a breath, breathe it out, chill it out. It's not that important. Well, it is important. It's not that big of a deal in the moment. Mine is to make sure to ask questions. Like at the end, when they said, do you have any questions for us? Don't be like, no, it's great. No. You have questions. Make sure. That's why you also research. So you can at least have 2 to 3 questions. Because honestly, they'd rather you ask questions. Like the gyms that I've been applying to, I say, how many members do you have? I want to know. Am I going to have a full schedule? Am I going to have an empty schedule? And instead of saying, will my schedule look full? Because that just sounds like, oh, will I be making a lot of money or not? How many members do you have? How's your attention with the members? Like there's different ways to ask it without also being like, oh, so am I gonna get paid a lot of money or not? Because like they're gonna be like, oh, that's all you're in here for is the money. Which yes, everybody obviously is at their job for money. We all got that. But they don't want you to literally ask that either. So that's one big thing.
Yeah.
Or like I'll give like another example, I guess, with just the gym, because that's what I've been like applying to, or like nannying even. I'll just be like, oh, like for nannying. I'll be like, so what does the boys' day-to-day schedule look like? When I first started nannying, they're like, we have an exact perfect schedule. Boom, 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 boom. That is a green flag. That is such a green flag if they like have an exact schedule, even at a real job. If it's like, so ideally, what is my time frame to finish my work? If it's like a business corporate job, or about how many tasks I'll be given in a day, or something like that. Just even if it's a question that you might already know the answer to because you researched so well, still ask it. Because they're gonna be like, wow, they really care.
Yeah.
It shows that you care more than it shows that like, oh, you're an idiot and you don't know anything. It's more like, oh my gosh, wow, they like really wanted to know more information. That's a good candidate that might really care about this position.
Yeah. I think some of the questions I asked were like, what would my day-to-day look like? Because like, yeah, what am I going to be doing on a day-to-day basis? And then I also asked like, are there any growth opportunities from this position? And forget what else I asked. But those were some of the questions I asked.
Yeah, it really does vary from job to job, obviously, what questions you're gonna ask. I do think like the day-to-day, that's a great one. Or like, again, if it's like a corporate desk job, like how many tasks I'll be given a day, what will my time frame be to finish said task, stuff like that. And you also can always ask, is there potential for a bonus? Is there potential for a raise? Like that's not inappropriate to ask, but don't just say, oh, will I be getting more money long term? No. Oh, so down the line, do you guys do a yearly bonus or a yearly raise or like something of that? Like the way you word it really is what matters also. Because it can sound very aggressive if you're just like, so am I getting paid a lot? And you're gonna be like, yeah, sure. Whereas if you're like, oh, so is there opportunity for a yearly raise? Like those words like opportunity, time frame, all that, very important. Like there's certain words that they almost like see as like a green, like a light bulb goes off in like the questioner's out, like ears, brain. I don't know what I'm saying. Never mind. Beep beep. Back it up. Back it up.
I agree. But yeah, I think something that helped me a lot was having those questions like ready prior to the interview, because then you're not doing that stalling thing. So prepare. Another thing is to just remember you're talking to people, right? So yes, they're interviewing you. Yes, they may be your boss if you get the job, but altogether they are just people, right? And so that kind of takes the weight off your shoulder, right? Because you just want to chat with them and have a conversation. So, for example, my interviews was very like, it was like a casual business mix. So we would, oh, how are you doing? Okay. And then we'd kind of get into the interview and some of the questions. I would use personal experience. And that's another thing is like, you can almost pull anything out of your toolbox to use as experience, even if it's not like the most relevant to what you're doing. So for example, I work in an airline job, right? So, but before that, I was working at a restaurant job. Like I was bartending. And I use so many different random things from bartending to like use as examples for this job because it's just kind of the way you word it, right? So I'm trying to think of one of the questions they asked me. or tell me a time, I think is a lot of the questions they asked me. It was like, tell me a time you handled something where a customer got upset, maybe. Okay. So, and I was like, oh yeah, this customer came into the bar and she called ahead looking for a table. When she got there, she was upset that it wasn't like in the exact location that she wanted it to be. And I ended up having to handle it, etc. Right. So I just pulled experience from something that might not completely correlate with the job, but you can not twist, but you can use experience from like almost anything that you've done because it is experience, even if it sounds like it might be cheesy or whatever you want to say, but it's not. It's still like experience that you have.
Yeah, my last interview I actually went to last week. My donuts are here. Uno momento, por favor.
Donuts.
Yeah, he got Krispy Kreme.
I'm jealous.
Thank you. Slay. Okay, bye.
That's like the second time he's done this.
Sorry, podcast. So in the previous interview that I was at, actually the mom is a mom to two twin 6-year-old boys. So that ended up being a really strong suit for me because the twins I nanny are 6 years old boys. So she was like, wow, like that can get so hard as the parent. Like I can't imagine at 22, like doing that. So to her, that was such a strong suit where you would never think nannying is like a strong suit to a personal trainer. So it really all is about how you just play your cards and how you say it, how you present it to the table. Because I can easily say, yeah, I'm a nanny. I cook mac and cheese all day and make sure they go to the park and have fun. That doesn't sound cool. If
That's
I
also
say,
not
yeah, I'm a nanny.
Everything you're doing.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying though. It's just more about that's what I'm saying. It's about how you word it. Because some people like if I'm talking to my friend, I'm just like, oh, I'm just a nanny. It's not a big deal. Like, haha. But like to a boss, you have to hype that ish up. You gotta hype it up and be like, yeah, Donald Trump himself endorses me. Welcome. Like literally.
Oh
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, so if you work at a restaurant, you're dealing with customers, you're doing customer service, you're have time management, you have to like, obviously check in on the tables. That's so many different things that you have there. If you're working in a retail store, you have to like keep things tidy. I've never worked in a retail store, so
It's
going,
awful.
okay, good. Yeah, tell me some of the strengths of it though.
Customer satisfaction, that's a big one. Honestly, that's a really big one. It's just like the customer satisfaction, just like tidying everything, making sure everything is the customer can be satisfied with walking in the door, trying on a piece of clothing. In the back room, is there a worker there attending to her needs, his needs, whatever. I worked at like the store that only really sell female clothes. All the way at the checkout, are they being greeted? Are they being offered the credit card, the discounts, whatever? So it really just that one, they like were so heavy on customer satisfaction. So therefore, in my interview, I researched this and made sure to know it. So for my interview, I kind of made the comment of, yeah, I just always want everybody that I meet to feel satisfied with my greeting or like to be satisfied with like my interactions with them. And they're like, oh, that's such a big thing for customer satisfaction. I was like, oh, I would have like, I just like dropped it into a sentence. And they're like, oh my God, that's such a big thing for us. And I was like, you're welcome. That's why I'm saying like those tiny things when you pre-research make or break.
And even if you don't have a lot of job experience, but you were in high school and you did that club and you had to show up for the club and you worked on those projects, those are all tools in your toolbox. Use them. Or if you're in college and you were part of a frat or sorority or a club thing there, like those are also tools in your toolbox. So use them.
I'm adding to my resume now, teak mom. Had 50 children all at once. I'm just kidding.
Doesn't need okay, let me clarify. It doesn't need to be on your resume.
No, I know. I was just teasing you.
No, I know. I just wanted to clarify.
Hey,
but
I pride myself on that. Made dinner for 10 people every Sunday. Exclamation point.
Okay, but you did jump in and help them with a baking sale, right? Kind of last minute.
No, I know.
That's somewhat of that's a tool in your toolbox now. So anyways, my point is almost anything you've done in life, I know, but I'm trying to make sure people get it. But yeah, anything, it can be relevant experience.
For sure. Yeah, honestly, just I think being true to you and just like Shafana said, everything's gonna be in your toolbox. Everything, anything. If you hopped on a lady at Publix last week, that shows that you're caring. Like I pride myself, you know how at the bottom of a resume there's like the one or two like bullet points of like have good time management. I pride myself on my time management. That is my top one. Time management. I'm amazing with time management and I know it. Like, and I make sure to reiterate that like 30 times. Because sad, a lot of people in America are lazy. No offense. I hope that's not you, whoever's listening. But a lot of people are. So therefore they want somebody who's really going to manage their time and also care about the position that they're offering. Because there are a lot of people right now that are just wanting a job that they have the money. And they want somebody who wants a job because they want the money and they're going to enjoy doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can sell them on, I'm going to enjoy doing this job on the money, you're good.
Yeah, about all I got.
Done.
Okay.
If we keep going, we're just gonna end up like beating a hammer into these people's heads.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, happy interviewing. Go nail it. Go get that job. And thanks for listening. Again, congrats to our giveaway winner. Thank you for anybody who entered the giveaway. You can follow us on thereandback.pod so you don't miss future giveaways and future episodes. You keep up to date. Yeah. If you feel like rating or reviewing, we'd love that. Please don't be mean. And you can follow our individual Instagrams. They'll be linked down below. And we'll talk to you guys in our next episode next Tuesday.
Have a happy and safe 4th of July.
Yes. Time just like flies by. It's crazy.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.